Well, hey, it's time for Ask the Tech Guys. Coming up, Dick DeBartolo with not one but two kooky gadgets, plus Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, with his photo review.
And I'm Micah Sargent, and gasp, scandalous, we answer a printer question.
It was a hard one, too. I don't know if we actually solved it. Plus, what do you do when you ask Siri to call your wife and she says, which wife? All that coming up next on Ask the Tech Guys.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte. Episode 2022, recorded Sunday, April 28th, 2024. Which wife? Well, hey, that's there's Mike Sargent.
Hello, Leo Laporte.
This is where we answer your computer questions on Ask the Tech Guys. Get it? Ask the Tech Guys. You ask, we
try to answer.
Fumfer around until we come up with something. 888-724-2884 is the phone number.
Yes, if you call that while we're doing the show, you will be able to ask your question live on air. If you call it while we're not doing the show, you'll be able to leave a voicemail.
Nothing happens.
No.
Oh, yeah, you can
Yes,
leave
a voicemail happens. You can also get in touch with us by emailing us, atg@twit.tv. You can send text, you can send audio, you can send video. We have all of those options available. And call.twit.tv is the URL that you can go to on your phone or your computer. And when you do, you will be able to join our Zoom room. Now, importantly,
yes,
when you join the Zoom room, look near the bottom of the screen for a little hand raise icon. It should say raise hand. You should click or tap on that. That lets us know that you do indeed have a question that you need answered. If you do not click or tap on that button, you will not be potentially brought up onto the stage to ask your question.
Dick DeBartolo will join us in a little bit. The new Mad magazine is out. Can you name all those comics?
Nope.
I can name a few of them.
I can name a few of them as well.
But we'll talk about that. Dick has a gadget for us. Also, he was postponed last week, but he's back. Missed because he's got internet now. Chris Marquardt will do his assignment review for, was it Brilliant? Something like that.
Something
powerful. I combine those. Powerfully brilliant. And we'll do those assignment reviews and get yourself a new adjective to shoot. Now, let's talk about what happened this week.
We've got 9 months, Leo.
They banned TikTok. It's like being pregnant, isn't it?
Yes.
You got 9 months. In 9 months.
At the end, let's see, how can we compare TikTok?
Chinese government says, and you know what? People say, oh, they're just bluff. It's all bluster. They said, no, we're not going to sell it. Bye. I completely believe them. And honestly, even though TikTok immediately went to court and is trying to stay it, I don't think they'll be able to stay it. And B, even if they do, this uncertainty hanging over it means advertisers will withdraw. Mm-hmm. Creators will move to Instagram. Congratulations, Meta. You won. You couldn't buy it. You couldn't kill it by copying it. So they lobbied legislators and they got it killed. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well done. Well done. Do we have comprehensive privacy reform? No. Does the Chinese government have access to Twitter and Facebook for propaganda? Yes. Can they spy information from data brokers about every American? Yes. So have we gained anything? No. Have we lost something? Yeah. I think a pretty amazing platform for creators. I've said it all. I have nothing more to say.
The one thing that I will say is not really a say, it is an ask, which is how are they going to truly implement this ban in 9 months?
That'll be interesting. What they'll have to do is go to Google and Apple and say, you must remove TikTok from the App Store. Mm-hmm. They'll cut off the servers. Basically, we'll have to have, you know how China has the great internet firewall?
That's what we're going to have. And I hate that. I really hate that we're doing that.
We're not China. This is the whole point.
Yes.
By espousing democratic institutions and free speech, we are better by doing so. We make an example to the rest of the world. Yeah, screw the example. Anyway, I know there are quite a few people who think, oh no, TikTok was a massive threat. And maybe it was, but you've done nothing to shut off every other way that the Chinese government can influence us. So I don't know what you've succeeded at. You've done nothing except give Meta a great big boost because all the creators, including my son, who's a big TikTok creator, will go to Instagram. He's already moved to Instagram. Not all his followers moved, though. He had 2.6 million followers on TikTok and only 1.5 million on Insta. So there's 1 million people still over on TikTok, and I don't know if he'll lose them in the transition. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Weirdly, did your Apple ID get reset overnight?
Thank goodness I was not one who had that issue. Yes, there are many people, it seems, whose Apple IDs were randomly reset in the middle of the night, and reaching out to Apple support provided no answer other than, oh yeah, something. That's really, it's just a hand wavy sort of, oh no, everything's fine. We don't really know as it stands what happened, but some people, this is kind of wild. What was wild to me was how different the experience was. For the people who had their Apple IDs reset, sometimes it was as simple as just needing to wait an hour to log back in because they had the
temporary
device protection set up. But then some people actually had all of their app-specific IDs reset as well. And that's annoying because that is a process that Apple uses where if you've got certain apps that need to log in with your Apple ID, these are typically going to be kind of like mail apps or contacts apps, notes apps. You generate a temporary password that is separate from your actual Apple ID password. And then it kind of confirms with Apple servers, you're able to log in, etc. Many people had to go and regenerate all of their Apple ID app-specific passwords. And that can take some time.
That's cray-cray.
A little cray-cray. But what's most concerning to me, the most cray-cray aspect of it, is that Apple and Apple support are not saying what's going on. So why did this happen? And why did some users have it happen, but some users did not? Are we going to see some sort of disclosure about what went down?
Yeah. It's a very strange, weird thing happening. Anyway, we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot to mention, if you weren't incensed by the ban of TikTok, which is pure political theater, in my opinion, maybe this will incense you. The next step, they're going to ban DJI drones
in the US.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is a clever way to do it. There is legislation in Congress right now to tell the Federal Communications Commission to block DJI on the country's communications infrastructure. To tell Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and et cetera, you can't allow any DJI drones on your 3G or your wireless. If passed and signed into a law, it would just now, good news, if you already have a DJI drone, which all of you do and I do, who doesn't, including, by the way, law enforcement. If you already have one, they're not going to block existing models. It'll only apply to future DJI drones. And this is the same thing. It's made in China.
Here we go again. This feels like a ramping up. And that's I don't like.
It is a ramping up.
What are they going to start banning most of my clothes too? Because frankly, all that comes from China.
Is your iPhone? Where's your iPhone made? I'm just curious.
Yeah, where is that? I think China.
China.
Not India.
Where's my laptop? Where's your laptop?
China.
I don't know. I think it's theater. Beijing could potentially exploit vulnerabilities in an app that controls the drone. When you use a DJI, you have an app on your iPad or your Apple phone or your Google phone to gain access to large amounts of personal information. Oh, yeah. Although a U.S. official said there are no known vulnerabilities that have not been patched. So,
and they are acting like this is about protecting individual users, but that's not. This is not.
Bipartisan support. Of course, DJI is lobbying like crazy. This has been proposed in the past and failed in the past. Although the military is not allowed to use DJI drones, which is fine.
That I understand.
Yeah.
I would be okay with the military, which I think in many cases they are, military not being able to be used, would not be able to use TikTok. Like, that's fine to me too. If there's this huge concern, then sure.
By the way, Ukraine uses DJI drones against Russia.
Oh.
That's one of its most popular combat drones, even though they're not designed to do that. Finally, I'll do one more and then we'll get to calls because I think we really should get to calls. This cracks me up. It turns out that video podcasts are the next big thing, and the New York Times is on it.
Oh, boy.
Apparently, I had no idea. Let's find the article here. It's all because of YouTube, I think. With YouTube booming, podcast creators get camera ready. And they quote, which is hysterical, they quote some guy who's, I guess, a big shot in podcasting, not me, who says, the idea, it's Jake Coburn, a radio and podcast producer for the Globe and Mail and Vocal Fry Studios, the very world famous Vocal Fry Studios.
Definitely heard of them.
He says, it's like saying video radio. It's a fundamental understanding of the medium. Yeah, we've blown it all this time. We've been doing video podcasts. What are we, nuts? What are we, crazy? What are we, crazy? So the New York Times, really a real trendsetter, has discovered that video podcasts are hot.
Woo!
When did we start doing video, John? 2009? 2008?
I think the first twit was in 2009.
We were in the cottage. Colleen, our wonderful engineer at the time, I bought on eBay, I bought a bunch of Canon video cameras, and she drilled holes in my desk and went to the junkyard and got a bunch of aluminum tubing, speed rail, they call it in the business if you buy it. But we went to the junkyard and got speed rail. She set up that little office in the brick house. She set the whole thing up, lights, cameras, holes drilled in, and we streamed the shows from 2009 on. In the cottage, then in the brick house, which is a beautiful studio. I wish the Times could have seen that. And then here in the East Side Studios. But now
it's catching.
It's hot. Just as we're about to turn off the cameras, it's hot. We did. We're the studio is a big expense, and one of the reasons we keep asking for money in the club is because it's very expensive. Not just the rent, and the rent we're going to have to pay till the middle of 2026. That's the lease. But the PG&E bill is almost as high as the rent. So we think we're probably just going to, in the next 6 months or 8 months, move the whole operation into your house. Mm-hmm. I hope you don't mind.
No, it's ready. The shoebox is ready.
We've been playing with a software called StreamYard. We did Stacey's book club on StreamYard on Thursday. I thought it went quite well. Didn't you, John? I loved how we could get the chat in there and stuff. So it won't be as beautiful as this. We won't have the lovely, actually we might, because I have a fireplace in my office. So we might actually have a real fireplace on the cold winter nights. I think we can make it look as good as this and save quite a bit of money. So if you're not a member of the club, forget it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll be here. We may not. It is, and they do point this out in the New York Times, it's really a lot cheaper just to do audio.
Yes. All
your other podcasts are audio.
Yes, that is correct.
Clockwise.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big other one that I do.
Yeah. Because that's smart.
Well, yeah. And it's nice to not need to be presentable for the camera, to be honest with you.
I agree. And as I get older and people go, who's that old guy doing the show? I will preserve my credibility by sounding young without looking young, right? Maybe. I don't know. It's my thought anyway. I think that we knew from the very beginning that a podcast is not radio. And a video podcast is not video radio. Sorry, Jay.
Video radio.
Video radio. You mean TV? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good medium. No, it's about community. And whatever builds the community best is, to my mind, the best way to do it. And that's one of the reasons we started doing videos, because you seeing us makes it more real. Right?
Yeah.
We're not just disembodied voices. I know most of the time people will listen just to audio, but every once in a while they'll watch a video.
Exactly. So. And depending on which audience you're talking about,
right,
video is more or less important. So I know there are quite a number of young folks who like to have that video, and in many cases they are not even listening at all. They're just reading the captions on screen with video in the background. So
somebody found, it was hysterical, a Kevin Rose video that he made. I think this was back in sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Back in 2009.
I'm here behind the scenes at Twit This Week in Tech with
Wow.
This is when I was up in the garret.
This has to be the most complicated setup I've ever seen in my entire life.
And this is, I think, before we were doing video.
Grown in a bad way. This is actually, we just completed our last time that we're going to do it here in the little mini Twit office, my garret office. We're in the attic of an old bed and breakfast Victorian building. And I do the KFI radio show from here, and that's how we started with Twit.
Right.
So it's kind of fun. It was just a little tour of equipment that we have long ago abandoned. But
I loved that music.
that was his show called System without the E. Kevin's going to be on Twit this afternoon.
Has his hair changed at all?
No, I don't think so. Oh, cool. We'll see. It's cute, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very of the time. That's
it was of the time. That's right. He what is the date on this? I think it's 2009. He I remember when we were on Tech TV, he used to go in the makeup room and spike his hair up with gel. I remember that. I tried it once. Didn't work. And not for me anyway. It wasn't exactly my thing. Anyway, welcome to all of our new club members. And for those of you who are not yet club members, your support is very important. If you're not yet a member, consider $7 a month. That's all it is. twit.tv/clubtwit. You'll get all the you'll get all the ad-free shows. You'll get the shows in video that we do only for audio, like your Hands on Mac. In the public, we do you audio only in the public, video in the club. Just thought I'd get that out of the way right up front. twit.tv/clubtwit. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put a link. The old studio tour was actually in the general chat, but I'll put a link to that in our Club Twit Discord, so you can see it. Not great. Shall we do a phone call right up front and get something out of the way here?
Yeah, we can do a phone call and pick up on Joe. Once I'm going to get him, brought him to the room.
Hello, Mighty Joe. Welcome to the show. Mighty Joe. And your comic book collection. That was almost as good as AI.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Joe.
Welcome. Wow, I love the set.
Hello, Joe.
I'm on my iMac, and I'm not sure why I'm echoing, but I just wanted to ask, like, what's the... First of all, I'm new to Club Twit. I've been watching you guys for like 20 years.
Welcome.
At least. I'm just wondering what the best offsite backup, because I back up all my stuff here. I'm just wondering if you could recommend something really good, fairly affordable to back up all my content.
Sure. And in future, the solution to that is headphones. There he goes. Because if you have open speakers, even with echo cancellation on in Zoom, it's not perfect.
Yeah,
and you're
there, I think I figured it out.
Yep.
Yeah, that solved it. So good. So we can talk back and forth. So the question was offsite backup. What do you do for offsite backup?
I use a little thing called Backblaze personally.
Very popular with Mac users.
Yes. So, yeah. and I also...
But it works for everything.
I also use Dropbox. So I kind of back up to a couple of places. With Backblaze, the way that it works is you install a little application on your machine. It's very price effective. And essentially Backblaze just scans everything that's on your Mac and then uploads it to its offsite servers. It's very inexpensive to just back up. And then if at any point you need anything from those backups, it's also got versioning, which is great. But if at any point you need anything from your backup, you can go online and you can grab it. Or for a little bit of money, you can actually, if you needed to do kind of a whole restore, they will let you, I think it's like a rental fee. They'll send you an actual physical drive that has everything from it if you need it. So that's one way to go about it. Backblaze also has a way of doing even more with your backups. And I can't think of now what it's called, but it's essentially a more, there you go, B2 Cloud Storage. So that is, say you have like a lot of external drives that you are storing locally. especially if they're network attached storage. Backblaze doesn't offer with its standard option backups for network attached storage. B2 Cloud Backup will do that as well.
That pretty much answers it. You should probably use a local. I think it's always a good idea to have a local system and a cloud system. It's that part of that 3-2-1 backup, 3 copies of everything, which could be the original, the local backup, and the cloud backup. 2 different kinds of media, which I think when they first thought of it, it was like hard drives and DVDs or something. But cloud and local is 2 different kinds. And then one of them should always be in the cloud. And that's because of ultimate disaster, a nuclear bomb. Well, that's not a good disaster. Earthquake. How about
Fire.
that? Something. Where do you live, Joe?
I'm about 2.5 hours southwest of Toronto.
Okay.
I live in a town called Brantford, which people would know is the hometown of Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
As soon as you said about, I knew you were from Canada. Yeah.
So is in Brantford. So let's say a nuclear bomb hits Toronto, but the shock shakes
Knock
up
on
things
wood, by the way.
in Brantford. No, I shouldn't say that. It's terrible. No, but there's a
disaster,
a house fire,
a disaster happens,
a flood. I bet you floods are an issue in your neck of the woods. And your local hard drive gets flooded and is no good anymore. The cloud is really that stop, and that's one of the reasons cheap backup like Backblaze is offering is because you're probably not going to use it.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think in the history of having Backblaze, I think one time I used it and it was simply because I had deleted something and I had 1 year versioning history. And so I was able to go back and find that other version because at the time I was using Time Machine, which is my local backup,
which is supposed to do versioning
over network attached storage. Yeah. And the network attachment had failed, so the Time Machine was not completing the backup. So luckily I had versioning. Yeah, normally I would just use the versioning via Time Machine, but I stopped using network Time Machine.
For a single file, local backup is always the best because it's fast, it's instant. You don't have to do for a disaster having the cloud.
Yeah, that's where
great.
Cloud should come in.
So they say it's $100 a year per computer. There are other ways to do this. Obviously, there's an almost a virtually infinite number of ways to do it. Almost any cloud system will do it. The nice thing about Backblaze is you don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
You don't have to have a file structure or anything. It just does it.
It just does it all. Yeah.
I use if you have a NAS, a network attached storage. I use a network attached storage at home to back up everything. Using SyncThing. So I have SyncThing on all my computers. It synchronizes to the NAS. And then I have a duplicate NAS here. This is a crazy solution, but I have a duplicate NAS here, which the first NAS syncs to the second NAS. And that way I have an offsite.
You should probably set one up at your mom's house. So you have something that's geographically far away.
That's what, by the way, if an atomic bomb hit Petaluma, you know what? If it does,
but if it does, you're also not going to be here.
I'm not going to care. It's not going to be. It's not a big deal. So that's what Steve Gibson used to do. He used to mail CDs. This is how old it is. CDs to his mom.
Oh wow.
She said, "What are these?" She said, "Don't worry, just put them in a drawer, and if I ever need them, I'll let you know."
Thanks, son. Glad to hold on to all your.
Too bad he didn't put his Bitcoin wallet on that, because that would be nice. Anyway, you're right. This is simple, easy. So the basic answer is that. But it doesn't take long before you can think of 1,000.
Yeah, there are so many ways to do it. If you use a Mac and you want a fast way of doing it, I just recommend Backblaze. Especially if you've got a nice, speedy internet connection, you can get it done pretty quickly. Yeah. Backblaze does have kind of a built-in thing where the throttling will make it so that you can still keep using your computer and it doesn't get in the way of your up and down speed. But I crank anytime I've had to set it up new, I crank it all the way up overnight, let it do its thing, and it's good to go. And then I did mention that I also use Dropbox because I do most of my file sharing over Dropbox. I save most of my files to my Dropbox folder anyway. So Dropbox is also technically another offsite backup that I have just by virtue of how I personally use my machine. So again, there are so many ways to go about doing this. And Leo and I both use many a tool for photos, including our sponsor, Mylio. So that may also be another
belt and suspenders is always okay.
Yeah.
And since you're new to the club, Joe, go on into our live chat in the Discord, and they have about 800 other solutions.
Yes, exactly.
In fact, Chocolate Milk Mini Sips got a kind of nice story. Jason Howlett recommended a Android backup called FX File Explorer some time ago, and he says Chocolate Milk Mini Sip says he could not get the files off his Pixel 6 Pro, but fortunately he had purchased this some time ago and he was able to get a 64 gig zip file.
Oh, good.
Download it and restore. And then another member of the club says, Dan says, I've been on Backblaze for more than a decade. Last year, get this, they sent me a drive of my 7 terabytes when he had some missing files. It was such a huge amount. This is the problem with cloud is you're not going to download a terabyte of data. It takes too long. But in some cases, Backblaze will send you a drive at a cost, but they'll send you a drive. And you know what? If you need your stuff, you really need it, right? And Adam the Phantom says, if there is a nuclear bomb, good news, Vaultec will sell you a vault.
That is a good point.
Good Fallout.
Reference acknowledged.
Reference. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Joe. Welcome to the club.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Great to have you. Have a great day. Take care. That's the phone number, 888-724-2884. Dick DeBartolo coming up in 15 minutes, Mad Magazine's maddest writer. Let's take a little pause that refreshes, and then we will get back to your calls. Our show today brought to you by Mylio. I love Mylio. Let me open up my Mylio photo storage right now. We've mentioned it last week because Mylio is, among many other great features, able to import Google Takeout files, which makes it very easy. Mylio, let me see what the total number of files I have here in my Mylio. It's quite a huge
525,600.
Is that how many you have?
No,
that's how many minutes in a year. 5,000, 2,500, 6,000. I don't know. I have, I think, over 200. Yeah, 210,854.
Wow,
images in my Mylio. I love it. Now, I'm a serious photographer sometimes, as is Chris Marquardt. So I have everything in here, not just the tourist photos. Here we are in Mexico, and videos too, notice, but also the stuff I take for art reasons and so forth. I love Mylio. Mylio is a fantastic way to keep track of all your photos. We call it, there's Mom. Oh. We call it digital asset management. And here's Bob, our peacock in the backyard. So I could play the video if you'd like to see it. Digital asset management is awesome because it means you can keep track of everything you've done, audio, video, pizzas. But
that's good.
But the thing I really love about this is you can also organize it, not only by date, but by tags geographically. You can upload it to your what is the genealogy service that they use? The LDS's genealogy service,
exactly,
which is really cool, for free, by the way. A lot of genealogy services. Plus, it automatically will order things by smart tag. And look at all the tags: balance beam, ball player, barbell, baseball, basketball. That's just the B's in activity. If you have pets, you'll love the ability to sort it by beavers, elephants, fishes. Maybe I should just do cats. Let's see. We have even cheetah, cougar, Egyptian cat, jaguar, Persian, tabby. Maybe I'll just say all of our cat pictures. And there's all our cat pictures.
I love that.
Now, I did not categorize this. If you're a Picasso user, back in the day, you may remember going through each picture one by one, tagging them, adding captions. This is done automatically, which is fantastic. It is the best way. Let me see if I have any camel pictures. Nope. No. Apparently I have a beaver picture. That's just more cats. All right. Anyway, it also can organize it by people. Now, what you do for that is you'll pick a couple of people, pick some pictures and add them, and then it will go through all your pictures in the background and slowly, but over maybe a week or so, categorize everybody. Let's see if I have any pictures of Jammer B. I have to. So this is matching Jammer B, the cat. So let me turn off the cat part.
There we go.
And that would be pictures of John with his cat, but I don't have any pictures of you with your cat. But isn't that cool? You can narrow it down that way as well. You can look at all the people. This is all automatic, which really is fantastic. I mean, I can go on and on. What do you like about Mylio? I know you use it too.
Well, honestly, though, it's the smart tagging stuff, because I specifically remember, because how do I think about photos, I think about them as memories. And so when I think about my mom and I were on the beach and I remember us smiling while we were looking at the photo. So you can categorize mom and smiling.
Can you
and
imagine?
Beach even, and then you get right to the 3 photos that you
Isn't
taken
that awesome?
on the beach.
Without any extra work.
Exactly. And it had done that all by itself locally on device, which is so important because there are a lot of, I've really thought about how consent should factor into our photo sharing stuff, and how when we upload them to these online services, all this automatic face tagging is happening. This stuff is happening on device. And I think that's what makes it as extra specially awesome.
So let me tell you about the things that really matter. Just like you said, on device, it's private. It's cloud independent. You can even, and you do this, I use my NAS to store my cloud backup. But MyLeo also offers cloud backup, or you can use third-party cloud backup, or not. You can keep it completely in your house on device. All your photos, all your videos. By the way, documents too. Android, iPhone, Windows, and Mac. And here's the best part. It's free for your first computer. So if you just want to get organized and get it set up, just download it now on your favorite device, iPhone, Android, Windows, or Mac, and you got it for free. Now, of course, both Mike and I immediately signed up for the paid plan, which gives you automatic backups, syncing between devices. I have MyLeo Photo on everything. So when I take a picture on my iPhone, it immediately goes to my MyLeo catalog. It also has deduping, the best deduping of anybody. So if you've got duplicate pictures, which you will if you import everything, because you can import from Facebook, Instagram, Google, and on and on and on. For $9.99 a month or $99 a year, you get all of that, organized, managed, unlimited photos, unlimited videos, all devices. But as I said, get started first for free. We know you're going to love it. So get started free with their basic version. Take full advantage of the platform with MyLeo Photos Plus by using, our special offer. Wish I'd known about this. I paid the full price. Get 25% off your annual or monthly subscription right now to MyLeo Photos Plus. 25% off. Go to mylio.com/twit25. mylio.com/twit25. That's a really good deal. They have excellent support, by the way. You see those concierge plans. If you aren't sure exactly what you're doing, or you just want some help, they're really, really good. I still have Google Photos and Amazon Photos because I have the free versions of all of those. But MyLeo is worth it just to have one central source of all of them. Tagged, organized, does everything Google Photos would do. And then you can have it go out to your favorite editors. So I have editors that I like to use. So you just right-click on it, select it, and go. mylio.com/twit25. Don't forget that 25, so you get 25% off. All right, let's take another call. What should we do here?
We're a little close starting with Dick. How about an email?
Sure. Because you don't think I could do a call in 4 minutes, do you? I can, This is from, Court. Hi, Court. Can I give your whole name? Court Pontiff. I think that's a made-up name.
Court Pontiff?
The Court Pontiff in-house. Leo and Micah, I have a Sonos soundbar for a TV and a Sonos 2 wireless speaker that connects to Wi-Fi so I can have TV in my kitchen. It worked fine for years. So now the only way I can get it to connect is unplug the router. When the router restarts, the speaker will connect and work for 15 to 20 seconds. Then it disconnects and nothing. Restarting the router makes it connect again. And then again, only for a few seconds. It's an Optimum Cable Company router. Do you think it might be a router setting issue? Could the speaker have gone bad? Do I still have the Doc Martin shoes with the flames? I do. I'll put them on in honor of Kevin Rose. They're in my closet over here.
So, first and foremost, my recommendation is to see if there is any IP reservation option on your
make it a static IP.
Router, a static IP. So if you are unfamiliar, basically one of the things that your router does is it looks for devices trying to connect. And when they do, it gives them a name, a phone number, however you want to think of it. And that from that point on, it it could stay that way. But as you add new devices to your network and as some devices disconnect, though that name or phone number might get reassigned to a different device that you connect. And some devices I have found just really like it if you never make them change their phone number, if you let it stay consistent. Printers are a lot like that. And sometimes these sound devices, which you plan on keeping running and working, work better when that's the case. Now, it may be that for the reason why it's worked up to this point for so long is because you didn't have as many things on the network, but as over time you've gathered new Wi-Fi devices, you've gotten new things, that's what's changed. So check your router's settings, or if you need to, call the support squad for your ISP and ask them about assigning a static IP. If you could do it yourself, that would be great. If after that doesn't work, I was going to say, see if you can do a firmware update for the Sonos, but now I'm realizing.
Well, the very first thing you should do with the Sonos is remove it and set it up again. John, is this? I don't know what the Sonos soundbar is. Is the Sonos 2 part of the old Sonos or the new Sonos? By the way, Sonos is now adding a third. It's new. Okay. John's our Sonos expert because we have Sonos throughout the studio, but we have the old Sonos One system, right? So that's the first thing, is make sure you're using the right app for your system. It wouldn't work at all if you didn't, so I'm going to presume you are. In that app, remove those speakers. I have to do this periodically all the time. Periodically all the time. Is that a contradiction in terms? I have to do it pretty much every month. To me, I have Sonos Moves in the kitchen. My last Sonos I've slowly weaned us off. I got rid of the sound bar. Somebody got it here. It was part of a Leo's garage sale a couple of months ago. I got rid of the little Sonos satellites. I got rid of the Sonos sub. I got rid of Sonos everywhere because I don't like Sonos anymore because A, of what they did with this change to Sonos 2, but B, I find them unreliable, and C, everybody in the world now does the same thing. Ever since Google won its case against Sonos, they now can do party mode. Everybody can do party mode. Sonos claimed that they had a patent on party mode and nobody could do it. You know, the idea that you have multiple speakers throughout the house all playing the same music. That's actually hard to do on Bluetooth or Wi-Fi even because it's hard to keep them in sync. Sonos had figured that out some years ago. That was the reason to get Sonos. We have, when you put on Humphreys McGee, John, when everybody has left, he puts on Humphreys McGee. Every room in the studio has Humphreys playing in sync. If it gets out of sync, you really hate it because it sounds like it's echoing. It's really a weird experience. But everybody can do that now. When Sonos was the only one in the world, okay. But everybody can do that now. The other reason I'm kind of going against Sonos is the computer's built into the speaker. And this is what we experienced when they obsoleted version 1, is even though that speaker is still perfectly good, because they're obsoleting the computer interface inside the speaker, the whole thing is no good anymore. And I believe you should separate the two. So I'm now a fan of having good speakers. I use ELAC speakers, and then attaching them to something that has the AirPlay or the Bluetooth or the wireless capability. Because that way, when there's an upgrade to the wireless, you don't have to throw away perfectly good speakers. Speakers should last a lifetime. Right? Because, yeah, they, as far as we've seen, they can. So let them last a lifetime. Yeah. So, ta-da. That's just my feeling on it. That's not an answer to this question. You gave the answer, but I would also say remove it and start over again. Yeah, sometimes that's a good idea. They just seem to get confused periodically all the time. Why is so it joins, it gets on, the router's dropping it. Yeah, I think you nailed it. There's something going on with DHCP there. So giving a static address may just solve that. That's what's worked, not specifically with Sonos, but with devices that were giving me those issues in the past. Giving it a static IP was what solved it for me. Yeah. And that rhymes. So there you go. There you go. All right. Get ready. Time? It's time for the madman himself, Mad Magazine's maddest writer and our gizmo wizard. We call him The GizWiz. He's the host of the GizWiz podcast at gizwiz.tv and the Giz Fizz evening show every Wednesday, also on gizwiz.tv. Hello, Dick DiBartolo.
Hey, how are you guys?
Well, practical joke items guaranteed to put the fun back in funerals. That's Dick's piece in this month.
I wrote that along with Frank Santopadre, so I have to give Frank credit.
Yes.
It's kind of fun. You know, Kleenex tissues that give you a black eye. Remember when we were kids?
Always fun at
Remember
a
when we were
funeral.
kids, you gave somebody a tube and you said, look through this?
Yeah.
I like this one. Put a knife in the corpse.
Oh.
That's cute, right? Especially for those open caskets.
That's cute.
And puts a little soap on the handles of the casket. Slippery casket is so fun. Caskets coated with a clear, odorless, industrial-strength machine oil. Nowadays, when did you write this? This is, these are all best ofs now.
Oh, these are all, yeah. It's probably 30 years ago.
Yeah, so nowadays you might use a dry silicone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is very funny. This is the cover, which is a roast.
I'm sure WD-40 has WD-40 for coffin handles.
They do now, actually. I use it on my Pilates equipment, but it's the same thing. Uses a dry. So I know that's Ricky Gervais.
Yep.
Chappelle.
Yep.
I'm guessing the topless. She's not a good likeness, but I'm thinking that's Sarah Silverman. But I don't know.
I have Natasha, Amy Schumer. Yes.
Amy Schumer, I knew. I don't know the rest of these, though. Some of these guys.
Cat Williams is below Chappelle.
Cat Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is fun, though.
Who always has his shirt off is Bert. Crusher.
I don't know all the modern comics, but this is fun.
I know.
I watched last night. I watched the. Where's Steve? He doesn't do roasts. That's why he's too nice. I don't think Steve would ever do a roast, but I did watch the Correspondents' Dinner last night, which was kind of a roast, where the president roasts the former president and Colin Jost roasts the current president. It was interesting, not funny.
Oh, it was interesting.
It was a little too on the nose for me.
Yes, that's a perfect compliment for. I once saw a Broadway show that Mitch Miller had written, and he invited us because he was on Match Game, and I thought it was not good. So he said, what do you think? And I said, Rich, I've never seen anything like it.
Perfect. God, you're good. I wish I had you like Cyrano de Bergerac. I wish I had you in the bushes with me as I'm wooing Roxanne. Patton Oswalt's Waffle House hidden hash brown recipes. This is the menu you don't know about. Emo Phillips, believe it or don't. So they had famous comics writing stuff.
They did it. They from time to time they have done that.
I love the Jim Gaffigan. Jack and Jim Gaffigan's avocado toast. 15 steps.
Wow.
If different comedians told the same joke, this is great. Lewis Black, Dane Cook. Whatever happened to Dane Cook?
Yeah, what did happen to him? He was so hot for a while.
Yeah. People realized he wasn't funny, I think. Larry the Cable Guy, Bill Maher, Carlos Manisha. He used to be my towel boy at the local
what's a towel
club in
boy?
San Francisco. The kid who handed out towels.
Oh, literally.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And then he became the Taco Bell dog. Yo quiero Taco Bell. And the rest is history.
I don't think that was him, was it?
Wasn't that him? Maybe it was somebody else. Anyway, look it up. Anyway, whoever did the Taco Bell dog, that was the guy who was my towel boy. The monotonous Mrs. Mason.
The monotonous.
Okay, very funny. Very good. That's kind of current. That's fun. Anyway, Mad Roast Comedy, the new issue of Mad. It's the June issue on newsstands today.
At comic book stores.
Oh, they don't put it on newsstands anymore?
No.
Just comic books.
At the newsstand.
And you can find and you can also find a lot of that material in the Barnes and Noble specials.
Oh, I love those, by the way. I buy all of those.
Yeah, so those are great.
Anyway, that was a little tribute to Mad Magazine, but now it's time for Dick's Gadget of the Week, and this is always, I think, the challenge. Can you get Micah to buy it?
Let's see. I think neither one of you need the first one.
Okay.
And I think you both will love the second one. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So this is for people who don't have a smart home, but would like that sometimes the light in the lamp is soft, other times bright so they can read.
Yeah.
It's a kind of an amazing idea. It's from Fate, and I've never seen anything like it. It's an LED bulb where you dial the light you want on the side of the bulb. However, suppose you put the bulb in a ceiling fixture.
You're never going to
quickly
change
turn the light switch on and off.
Oh.
And if you do it very quickly, it will go through the 5 different temperatures.
Clever. That's pretty clever.
The one you end at will be the way the bulb comes on when you turn it on again.
Oh, so you really have access to it even. So it's a semi-smart. It's half smart.
It's half smart. Exactly.
And it is LED, right? I mean, that's the thing that these days.
It is LED. And Leo, whenever we talk about LEDs, I talk about you 18 years ago telling me about the first LED bulb from CC Crane, which was $100.
$100. He said they'll get less expensive. It was very expensive at the time. Yeah.
All right, so these are on Amazon, 2 for $7.99.
Wow. 2 for $7.99. Wow. That's like, is that like what an incandescent bulb would have cost? That's roughly the same. I guess they were a little cheaper, but given that this light bulb never burns out.
No. And it's a 60 watt equivalent, and I believe it's like 8.5 watts. So it's a great saving.
That is really, really nice.
Yeah. The other guy, Leo, is an amazingly small travel lamp.
Ooh.
That you can power it by USB-C if you want. You can charge it by USB-C, but it has built-in soft lighting, 3 brightnesses, or bright lighting, 3 brightnesses, or you can have them both on. It clips onto any book or shelf. And I just happened to check Amazon today, and right now it is on sale for $8.50.
I'm going to buy 4 of them. And then I can light my whole room.
This is a pretty neat little
It has a
gadget
battery, huh? That's cool.
Yes, it has a built-in battery.
It's pretty small for that. Yeah.
At the very lowest power, the company says that it'll run for 18 hours.
Yeah, I believe that. I need a good book light because I like to read at night and I don't want to wake Lisa up. The one I have right now is really ridiculous. It goes around my neck and it has 2 lamps. It's like headlamps.
I have that for crochet. That exact one.
It's really bright and it doesn't solve any problems. So this one you clip right on the book.
Yeah. Also great if you're wanting to go as an anglerfish for Halloween.
Oh yeah, you could just put it on your head. Yeah, I love it. So there's the video from Dick's GizWiz.biz site, GIZWIZ.biz. He's got videos for both the Fight electric 6-way light bulb and the Glaucuscent. That is the worst name.
Yes,
Mini
exactly.
Willow book light. Glaucuscent.
That sounds
and
like
I've links
diabetes drug.
Amazon links to both.
Yes, which means it's very easy. And if you buy it through the Amazon, you get the advantage of giving Dick a little tip, which is nice, even though a $7 lamp isn't going to give you more than a few cents, but still.
7 cents can go,
He's a frugal fellow. Yes. So he can.
It's like coffee in New York.
It's a coffee for 7 cents, a nickel coffee. What can you get for a nickel in New York City?
I think you can get about 3 cents.
I was going to guess a middle finger.
GizWiz.biz is the website. Now, when you get there, there is a way to win yourself a copy of this brand new Mad magazine, if I am not mistaken. Click the button.
If you're fast.
If you're fast, because it's almost over, right? End of April. It's the March, April. What the heck is it? Oh, dear.
Oh, my.
I don't know what it is. I'm not sure I want to know what it is.
I shouldn't say.
I think it's a pacifier for a moose.
Or a pacifier for conjoined twins.
Or conjoined twins. Yeah. I think there are 2 of them, but maybe they're joined. We don't know. That's why it's fun. You have to guess what it is. Now, there are up to 6 Mad magazines for the right answer. Have you gotten any right answers yet?
Oh, tons.
Oh, people know. People know. So go for the silly answer because there's 12 autographed Mad magazines for the best silly answer. And you have till, just a couple more days till the end of the month. Till Tuesday night, midnight.
Tuesday night at midnight.
And you'll be playing for Mad Roasts Comedy, which is a great issue of Mad Magazine. And it's not just any old Mad Magazine. It's personally autographed by this cat right here, Dick DeBartolo. And by the way, you have the best autograph.
I know, I agree.
He says, madly. Do you do that for all the winners too? Madly?
Yes, I do.
DeBartolo.
I do.
That's great. I have a complete set now. 19 years of autographed Mad magazines. That's pretty awesome. Dickie D.
Yes, sir.
Email your entry to gizwizbiz@gmail.com by midnight EDT. Actually, it's EST. No, it is EDT. Right. We're on DT.
Yeah.
EDT, April 30th, 2024. And,
perfect.
Read the rules there on the website, gizwiz.biz. Thank you, Dickie
D. Thank you, guys. Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I wonder if there isn't a legend for who's on the cover. You just have to.
Oh, yeah. I think Dickie D sent us one.
Did he? He explained who everybody is?
Let's see. Left from top.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle.
Yep. Ricky Gervais.
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams.
Is the black guy that's below Dave Chappelle.
So they're going to the left-hand side completely. Okay, from the top. Yeah.
And then Ali Wong.
I recognize her.
And then Joe Coy.
Joe Coy. Can you show my over the shoulder? Thank you.
And then middle, Alfred E. Newman.
And kind of crispy.
And then right from top is Matt Rife, Amy Schumer, Tiffany Haddish. Oh, Bert Kreischer. And then Natasha Leggero.
Oh, it's Natasha Leggero. Without the shirt. Okay. Yeah, it didn't look like Sarah Silverman, but I just thought maybe the circumstances would indicate.
Yeah.
Mad Roast Comedy. Well, this is going to go on my shelf, my complete collection. This will never show up in Leo's garage sale, so don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, so don't even ask.
Don't even ask. And I do like this Seinfeld parody called Swinefilled. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Let's take a little tiny break. When we come back, we're going to get another question in here. What do you say? You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. There's Micah Sargent.
And Leo Laporte.
I always think of that as your barber shirt. Like you're a barber.
Oh, yeah.
A collarless striped shirt. I don't know why. Or maybe, no, not barber. Barbershop Quartet.
That's
what it is.
I had one of those corncob hats.
Sweet Adeline. Who should we talk to next? Mr. Producer Man, John Ashley.
I'm trying to pick up on a caller, but...
Well, yes. I hope she resists your attempt.
Okay.
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 If you are able to pick up on the caller, we should let the caller know that you press *6 to unmute yourself. They've got a flip, a switch, turn, a dial, touch, a knob, and milk a
Maybe
goat.
Now?
Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you
now.
calling from? Yes, now.
Not so much. I don't know if you're hearing me. I'm not hearing you.
Uh-oh.
We hear you.
If you're
One
watching,
of you wave if you're hearing me.
That's great. We can hear you.
But you don't hear us, which is only halfway there.
No, I can hear you now.
What's your name and
It's
where
like
are
a
you calling
Verizon
from?
commercial.
It's old Chef Guy.
Hi, old Chef Guy.
Santa Rosa.
From beautiful Santa Rosa, California. Where you are.
Lovely downtown Santa Rosa.
Yeah. They're a beautiful, beautiful city. If you ever get a chance, visit Santa Rosa.
Great parks.
Yeah.
Great treed parks.
Yeah.
I will say it is really quite stunning how out of sync the video is with the audio.
Well, don't watch the video.
Just so you know. No, I know. It makes me nauseous. So I have a question
I
about...
make me nauseous too, yeah.
I don't mean you make me nauseous. Instagram, good old standard, whatever Instagram, been posting a lot of photos there for a long time. Recently, I have taken a photograph, cropped it a little, what to post it, and I get a notice at the top of Instagram saying photo can't be posted.
What?
With no, of course, no support or rationalization. Or I emailed you a copy of the image.
Oh.
To the ATG email address.
Oh, let me pull it up so we can see what it looks like.
And you said recently, so does that mean this has happened more than once?
Yes.
And have you been able to post any photos since this started happening?
I can post to Threads.
But not to
Instagram.
Now I see you telling me you can hear me. That's excellent. I'll stop looking at you.
That's how
Don't watch the
no, I have
video.
not been able to.
That is really out of sync.
Okay.
It's really out of sync.
Here's the screenshot of this. Photo can't be posted. Photo can't be posted. Oh, it's not the same photo. It's different photos. So it's all of your photos can't be posted.
Those are 2 attempts of each photograph.
A picture of a poppy and a picture of a sky, and neither of which I would say,
beautiful clouds.
Yeah, is either is in any way problematic.
Yeah. Are either of those photos HDR? I know that you can post HDR photos to Instagram, but I'm trying to narrow things down a little bit.
Well, they might, and Instagram will take hike photos, right?
Yeah.
It'll take any photo your iPhone can generate.
It should.
I presume, yeah.
This is from a Pixel Go 8 Pro.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if there's some.
So then here are a couple of questions for you, because I've had something similar happen and then it stopped happening after a while. I don't know why it started happening. And so here's the rundown. I'm going to ask you all of the questions, and then you at the end can say, oh, I am doing that or I'm not doing that. So first and foremost, the question is, are you using a VPN? The second question is, are you using any DNS option like NextDNS?
Yeah.
The third question is, do you use the Google's built-in IP tracking stuff or IP non-tracking stuff? I can't remember what it's called on Pixel, but it's a lot like what iPhone does with no tracking. Are you using any of those kind of network filtering tools at all? Because I've had issues in the past with Twitter, where Twitter would not let me upload a photo, and it was because of a network filtering thing that I was doing. And the way that I was able to kind of troubleshoot was I turned off my Wi-Fi and just used cellular data, and it was able to upload through my AT&T
Worth a trial,
connection.
Chef Guy, yeah.
I haven't tried that. I'll try that. It's possible that I am using the Google One VPN or somebody's VPN.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say my qualification to that is I haven't changed any settings on the phone
Mm-hmm.
and was posting photographs there on Instagram up until now.
Let me ask one more.
Something in Instagram that's occurred.
Let me ask one more question. Did you take the photo in Instagram, or is it a photo in your photo library that you are then uploading to Instagram?
It's the same process I do with all my photographs. I take the photograph, I then take it into Snapseed, do some minor adjustments or cropping, and then I upload it to Instagram.
Does Snapseed have a shared Instagram button, or it must? Yes, it does. Okay. Huh.
Yes, it does.
Well, let me.
And like I say, I can post to Threads, no issues.
Oh, well, that's the same company, isn't it? In fact,
it is the same company.
Pretty much
but
the same. Yeah.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor. Pretty much the same thing. Instagram and Threads.
Right. If that hurts, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand the observation you're making there and why you might think that, well, if I can publish to one, but that one company is newer.
I would definitely try it mobile.
Is older. Yeah. The first thing I do is try cellular.
When I was flying out here on JetBlue coming home from my mom's, they have Wi-Fi on there, and you turn on the Wi-Fi, you select it, and you go to their website, and it just loads up, and everything's fine, right? Except I couldn't do it. I talked to the flight attendant, couldn't do it. It was kind of embarrassing because the guy sitting next to me says, "Let me look at it." I am the tech guy. He said, "Let me look at it." I said, "Okay, okay, you look at it." He said, "You have a VPN on," and he turned it off, and it worked. So I'm embarrassed. But I was using a NextDNS, as I do on all my devices, and I did have to turn that off to join the JetBlue Wi-Fi.
So you, of course, you made the mention that you've been doing it this way forever, and yes, it could be that just something has changed. It could also be that it's something that has changed temporarily and enough people will complain about it and then it'll get unchanged or fixed. But it is one troubleshooting step to take to see if it is. I remember whenever that was going on with Twitter, and that was while Twitter was still Twitter and not X for me. It was maybe a couple of months that I would have that issue, and then it suddenly stopped. So at some point, an app update fixed the problem with the image uploader. So yeah, that's why I suggest trying the cellular option. It could also be that there's something in Google One, if you are using that, Google One's VPN that has been added that is now causing the issue. I bet that's
the Google One VPN. And the reason they do this now, Twitter, I'd expect it to, is because they want to make sure you're not posing as somebody else. You know, I am a Russian agent operating out of Moscow, but I pretend I come from Boston, New England, it kind of thing. So I think for security reasons, this is something Twitter probably is, I mean, I'm sure is doing. And I wouldn't be surprised if Instagram has recently added that. So yeah, try that.
I had thought it was possible that I had thought it was a possibility that on the Poppy photograph, that there are curvy lines that could be considered to be like Edward Weston classic black and white.
It does look like the back of a woman. But the clouds.
So I thought perhaps it was that.
Yeah.
But the clouds is nothing. They're clouds.
No.
Yeah,
they look like cherub butts.
I have trouble believing that
it's the old cherub butt problem.
That would be the extent of the message.
Flag on the play.
If that was the case, I think it would say something else rather than
photo can't be posted. Is weird. Yeah. I don't use Instagram anymore, so I don't know. But I'm sure this kid, because he's a young man, posts on social a lot. Do you?
No. But when I did, this was something that solved the problem. So
and maybe
once every 8 months.
If I wasn't on Instagram, I wouldn't be able to see Chris Michaels or Scott.
I know there's some really good photographers.
I can't remember his name now.
Bourne, yeah.
Some really brilliant photographers
Scott Bourne,
that I can't find them anyplace else. Scott Bourne.
Yeah, I can't log into my Instagram right now. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I'll have to give him a ring.
Yeah.
Did he
He's
say?
doing some beautiful work though, black and white work, really stunning work.
He's an amazing photographer. Are they of birds still, or is he gone? Branch? I guess he can't go out to the
because he's slightly
marshes.
Immobilized.
Yeah.
He did a really wonderful series at an auto museum in black and white.
Nice. See, that's the beauty of photography. It really expands or contracts to fit your current needs. I love that. Scott Bourne, of course, a regular on MacBreak Weekly for many years. A wonderful guy. Sorry to hear that, but
and a great guy.
You know, he honestly,
really
15 years ago, he thought he was a goner. He had cancer, and he's survived that. So he's done all right. He's good for him.
He's done all right.
Yeah. Thank you, Chef Guy, old Chef Guy. I hope some of that helps. And if anybody's listening and wants to call in with a similar issue, here is a link from Scooter X, of course.
It does kind of have every answer, though. I was looking through it, and it's just
from Hey Tony.
It could be this, it could be this, it could be that, it could be that.
My Instagram can't be posted. And then 1,000 reasons why.
Yeah,
and,
one
I think we've
thing
mentioned
talks about the
key
network
ones.
stuff. Also your suggestion that it could be a content violation was mentioned, but again, I don't have any direct proof that is the case.
I think you nailed it. I think it's the Google One VPN. Try turning that off, or try just using your wireless carrier instead of your own Wi-Fi, just to see.
That's what I'm going to do. Right after I hang up, I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi.
And Snapchat doesn't. I'm not Snapchat. Snapseed doesn't do any weird.
Snapchat.
Oh, you said Snapchat?
No.
Snapseed.
No. You did.
Yeah, I said.
No, Snapseed.
Yeah. Snapseed doesn't do any weird format, like a Snapseed file format or anything like that. You've done this before.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Instagram says photos should be no more than 1936 by 1936. Maybe it's too big, but I think that's old. This must be that's pretty old. I think
sounds pretty old.
Yeah. I feel like they take anything now.
Yeah. Because they can just change it there on the fly.
Yeah. So I would definitely say it's a VPN or some sort of security thing getting in the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, old Chef Guy. Great to hear from you.
And good luck.
You betcha.
Take care.
Too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're closing down, I think, 4th Street in Santa Rosa to be pedestrian only.
Oh.
Which makes it a really nice kind of European city style walkable downtown. I really like that. All right. By the way, the big antique fair going on in Petaluma this weekend. Yep. Anybody could buy any antiques? I should bring my old tech gear down there. That's antique.
It's antique at this point.
Anybody want an Intel MacBook? That's an antique. 888-724-2884 is the phone number if you'd like to give us a ring. Should we do a voicemail, email, or phone call? Your choice.
You know what we haven't done in some time?
What's that?
A video question.
Hi, guys. Makai McKenna here from Costa Mesa, California. Club Twit member, big fan of all the shows you guys do. I really, really enjoy Mac Break Weekly. I think there aren't a lot of really good long-form discussions about technology, and even just the deep weeds we get into with every show is really something I think is lacking.
Thanks, Makai. Thank
in
you.
Tech Talk. So really appreciate you guys and keep up the good work. I got a question for you. I am always on the phone. I'm in the sales game. I send a lot of email. I leave a lot of voicemails. And I've just recently realized I leave the same voicemail for a lot of different people. And I'm wondering if there is an iOS app, a Mac app, a way that I can drop in voicemails when I call people and they don't pick up. I could just leave a voicemail
without recording it.
I know that's probably stretching, or maybe there's an app where I can just send voicemails to people's phone numbers, because it would save me a lot of time. So rack your brain around that. See if there's a app you can recommend. And if you would tag me in Club Twit, I would love to hear your response if I missed the show. But thank you guys for all you do. And really appreciate you guys. And long live Club Twit.
Thank you, Makai.
Thank
What
you,
a
Makai,
nice
for being a subscriber.
Very
and,
sweet.
Yeah, very kind things. What was that service that we used to talk about a lot that would let you send text messages out? You can kind of set it up.
Oh, Podium. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for small business. The idea was, I don't know if they'd let you send out audio. I mean, so that would be one way to do it. It's not a voicemail. But
there was one even before Podium that a lot of people that were developers would use. Twilio. I wonder if Twilio has a service.
By the way, Twilio's in the news. The founder and president and CEO of Twilio just bought The Onion.
Oh, that's right.
Not a joke.
Yeah. Truly bought The Onion.
Yeah, Twilio. So what it is an interesting question. You could, of course, record audio and send it as a text, a text message. But I don't think he wants to do that.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking Twilio, because you can make calls via Twilio, and then when it went to voicemail, you should be able to leave, because it's programmable voice.
I know it's got to be possible, because occasionally I will get a voicemail from somebody that never rang my phone. So I think the bad guys have figured out how to do this.
Oh, you mean you didn't get a phone call in the first place?
I don't think I got a phone call.
Voicemail?
It just went straight to voicemail. That hasn't happened in a long time, but it used to be fairly common.
Ringless voicemail.
Ringless voicemail, yeah.
Ew, I don't like the name of it. It's called Sly Broadcast.
Okay, don't do that. That doesn't sound good at all. I think that may be part of the problem. Is that, well, but you're going to ring, you're going to call the person and hope that they answer. It's if they don't answer, you want to play something back.
you gotta have a phone and a tape player. Beep. Beep.
Hello, this is Makai. I would like to sell you something. Call me back. You want to inject that audio from somewhere, ideally press a button. I wonder if Google Voice has anything like that. That's the kind of thing Google Voice might add. The answer is I don't know, Makai. I'm sorry. And I know he's not watching. He's asked us to put a link into the chat, so we'll do that. That's a good question. I don't know of any way to do that. And I think it may be kind of prohibited, frowned upon. I don't know. It's just a guess. I don't know of any way to do that, though. So, sorry. Maybe if you do, you could call us.
Sly Dial connects you directly to someone's voicemail, allowing you to leave a message when you just don't have time to talk.
That's it. That's what somebody was doing.
Sly
Dial. You
can
even do it with a group messaging feature. Don't do that. That seems really...
I wonder how that works.
From Retcon 5, our Discord's hopping today. How to leave a voicemail without calling someone's phone. This is from Ringover. Ringover.com.
It says, yeah, so with SlyDial, it has an app. Sign into your account, choose a contact. The app will connect to or access the number and then connect your call. Once you leave your personalized voicemail, simply hang up. Oh, this still requires you to, I don't think it has.
So this one looks good. This is called Ringover.
Oh, yeah, sending.
It's for sales professionals. Can you send someone a voicemail without calling them? Yes, you could send a prospect a voicemail without calling him. You just need to have an RVM or ringless voicemail drop solution in your contact center. Normally, to drop a voicemail, a sales agent needs to call the prospect first. If the customer doesn't pick up pre-recorded voice message, this is what we call a robocall. For the voicemail to be sent, your business needs to detect an answering machine, not a live customer. However, RVM works differently. Sends the voicemail into the voicemail box. It's called pre-ring injection. Without calling, I just made that up. Without calling or ringing the line. Wow. So let's see what the pricing is on such a thing. This is intended, obviously, for sales people. It's a cloud phone system, but will it? It's interesting. Will it work from a non-Ringover solution? I don't know. Seems like they're implying it would. So I don't know. Anyway, there's something to look at. Ringover.com. How can you send someone a voicemail without calling them? Oh yeah, it works for AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Whoa. Ringless voicemails are a proven direct marketing strategy. There are many ways to send ringless voicemails. Here's how to leave a voicemail without calling or sending messages straight to someone's voicemail. Hold the key 1 and press 2. Enter the recipient's number, record your message, press number to send. You still have to record a message.
See, and then if you don't know, you'd have to ask your client, do you use Verizon, T-Mobile, or AT&T?
Yeah. Huh. RVM software. Wow. This sounds like probably A, something that won't work for you, and B,
something that will annoy all of your clients.
Yeah. How can I leave someone a voicemail without their phone ringing? Well, at least I know now that's what was happening. Because oh yeah, Sly Broadcast. That's the one you were talking about. Allows you to pre-record messages and track campaign success in real time. It's HIPAA compliant voicemail. So, of course it is. You're not revealing any patient information. That's just nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, this show is HIPAA compliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Send voicemails to mobile to landlines. API access. Okay, Sly sounds like the way to go. Monthly and pay-as-you-go plans starting for $10 for 100 message deliveries. Yeah. Sorry about that. That's me.
For 10 cents, you can do the pre-recorded voicemail sent to up to 10 phone numbers at once.
Do you know what the most used RVM solution is? Drop Cowboy.
Oh, howdy there, Drop Cowboy. Yeehaw.
Drop Cowboy. There's quite a few of them.
Bulking texting. Why does it say bulking texting?
Bulking texting. Well, if you want to bulk up, now's the time we send you a voicemail.
Yeah.
Stratix Network.
I'll call back.
I'll be back. I'll call back. Yeah. Wow. So there are quite a few ways to do this, it turns out. All sales focused. What a surprise.
Yeah, who knew? Which Mackay was sales focused.
He was looking to do it. So Mackay, I know you would only do this to people that
deserve it.
This show is HIPAA compliant. Thank you, Mackay. Thank you for your nice words. And we're not making fun
very
of
kind
you.
words.
I would be judicious in using this. I think what he just really wants to do is call somebody, they don't answer, instead of having to record it.
Say the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just put it on your phone and play it back into the phone. That would work, right?
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could get one of those Build-A-Bears and you could record it into the Build-A-Bear.
So Mo D in our Discord is saying what HIPAA compliant reason it is HIPAA compliant. Most physicians, it's a violation of HIPAA to have a physician with caller ID unknown number.
Oh.
Most people won't answer it, and the physician is trying to call them and notify them their tests are in or the prescriptions are ready.
Mine never show up as unknown.
Mine does every time.
It just shows up. It doesn't show up as anybody, though, but it doesn't say unknown.
I don't answer it.
It doesn't. Yeah, it just has a number, but it doesn't. At least it doesn't say unknown number. There was a phone number.
Okay. Well, there you go. We've learned a lot more about cowboy messaging than we really yeehaw than we really wanted to. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. Micah Sargent, Leo Laporte. We're answering your questions at 888-724-2884. What would you like us to do now, John?
I want to pick up on this caller right here.
Welcome, this caller.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
What's your first name? And where are you calling from?
This is Dan. I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Hey now, Dan. What's up?
Well, I'm on this walk today. It's beautiful, rainy afternoon here in Portland.
We're seeing Portland.
Just
it's as if we're there.
As if you're there.
I thought you were in front of a patch of kudzu earlier, it looked like.
It was actually a beautiful trillium, and I'd show it to you, but
nice.
Not quite sure how to show a photo in this app. Nonetheless, beautiful Pacific Northwest.
Lovely.
April showers brings what?
Mayflowers.
There you go.
And what do Mayflowers bring?
The pilgrims.
Thank you. What can we do for you, Dan?
So I'm on this walk, and I say, hey, Siri, text my wife. And it replies, which one?
Oh, no.
That's a dad joke.
I wish it were. Luckily, my wife was
not with you
off shopping. And,
good.
She didn't hear.
Wait, which wife was off shopping?
No.
Sorry.
So,
well, in this case, it's kind of wild because
you have duplicate entries.
The setting
probably.
Before.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I have an email address and I have a phone number, and that's it. And it asks me, do I want to text her at that email address, or do I want to text her at her phone number?
That's silly.
And I think it's rather obvious. But
is that phone number or is that email address also her Apple ID?
Yeah.
That's why. So that's why. It's that Apple ID is registered with iMessage, and so it knows that it's an iMessage email, and therefore you are able to text via that email address. It would be great if you could say, I don't want to use the email. I don't need to. I've got the phone number, which is also registered with the Apple ID, but that's why it's probably doing that. One thing I would suggest is if it doesn't, for some people it'd bother them, but if you go into the contact and you label that email, I don't know if it's set to home right now, next to it. If you change that to something, especially if you change it to fax, I know it's not actually a fax, that would probably trick Siri into going, oh, well, I'm not ever going to think it's that, and would then default to the phone number. That might solve the problem. But yeah, because it's registered as the Apple ID, that's why it's thinking that you might want to send it there.
It's wild. I know. In
other words, it doesn't mean which. It doesn't mean which wife. It means which
number, which contact. Yeah.
And it's happened with my son before too. I'll say, "Hey Siri, text Owen," and it'll say, which. I can't remember.
So I just opened contacts. Yeah. I just opened contacts. I don't know if this is a new feature. I've never seen it before. Just opened contacts because I was going to show you how I've indicated which of my 3 spouses are my actual wife. But it said view duplicates, 147 duplicates found, which is kind of, I don't remember that before. That's a
lot of duplicates.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I have all these duplicates. So I'm going to merge them. That would, in a way, I think that would help, right? Because
if you do have,
if I have multiple entries for my wife, the other thing is it thinks it's your wife because you've marked it wife, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So
and it's been working for years.
Mark only one of them as your. But if you only mark one as your wife, it won't ask you that question ever again, right?
Well, the other one would be offended.
Fair enough.
I actually really like that feature in Apple's Contacts, which is you can.
It's called the relationship.
Say how they relate to you, and so I actually went through and I said, daughter, sister, brother-in-law, son, wife 2, wife 3,
right?
That kind of thing. And I think it's a nice thing to have for all your relationships. But I
use it for my mom and my sister.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
and obviously you've used it for your wife, and it's just that you have 2 entries who are designated wife, right? Is that
Probably
it?
This morning it changed after working for years.
Yeah.
It's something I do on a daily basis, multiple times a day.
Then
this morning it pops up and says, which one?
She might have changed something too, right? Because doesn't contact...
It's possible. You get to choose to what
she may be messing with you.
Contact option an iMessage can be sent to. Yeah. So it could be that if she set up a new iPad or something like that, or recently updated,
it would require a pretty serious family meeting for her to get into her settings.
That's what I was.
So no, she hasn't changed anything.
Well, but sometimes it's almost automatic. Like it says, "Would you like to update this?" I get that
Especially
a lot.
If she got that password reset thing that happened.
When I texted Kevin Rose, because I haven't texted him in some time, it said it had a picture of me and my new picture, and it said, "Would you like to send him your updated picture and information?" And I said yes. Similarly, when I got his first text, it said, "Hey, would you like, this is a new email for Kevin. Would you like to add this email?" And that kind of thing. Apple's pretty smart about that. So it may have said to her, this wouldn't require her going to settings at all. "Oh, you want to update your information to a hubby?" And she said, yeah. Keep it up to date. And it added for instance, an iCloud address, which suddenly confounded everything.
I thought in Siri settings, in voice control settings, in contact settings, there might be a checkbox. So, you designate it as, your primary.
Yeah,
I think you do. That's right. Yeah. Whatever. But if there are still multiples in there marked as wife, I could see how it would say which one. It doesn't mean which wife.
I could just delete her.
Yeah. It's probably really not saying which wife. It's ambiguous. It's probably saying which contact, which number, or which email. How do you want me to do this? Not which wife.
I'm going to try deleting the email address because I think I do.
And Dan, in future, I always have a separate phone for each wife, which solves the problem.
Oh, burners. I did watch The Wire.
No, that's terrible.
Did you say you watched The Wire?
Yeah. Burner phones. Burner phone.
Not have a burner.
Yeah.
Hey, Leo.
Yes.
Is it a dad
you got to ask how was NFT.
Oh, believe me, I'm going to. He sold the owls to the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but I'm going to ask him how that all went. He said,
make him apologize.
I will make him apologize. He said, I'm sure he'll do it on his own. He's a very sweet guy. I think probably what he did say in his message to me, I'm out of this whole Web3 thing. I think he kind of got burned by it all. And didn't, I don't think he intentionally scammed anybody or anything like that. I think any
one thing could make you a billionaire, and that could have been it. And it just wasn't it.
He was wealthy before then. So I don't,
absolutely.
He was an early investor in Twitter, remember? And on the cover.
I think it was an exciting thing. Every photographer was jumping
exactly.
in NFTs.
Exactly. I mean, I was always suspicious, but that's just my nature. And I am not going to be the kind of guy that compiles a bunch of clips of me saying 3D movies are dead in the water, NFTs and blockchain is dead in the water, the Vision Pro is dead in the... I'm not going to compile that. Unless, John Ashley, you decide to do a little extracurricular...
See, it's a funny thing you just mentioned that.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Did you actually make one? Yeah, okay. Well, we'll find out. Someday it'll show up. You could also make one of all the times I've been wrong. That would be much longer.
I'm sure we have that somewhere already.
Yeah. They're saving that for an important time. Anyway, great to talk to you, Dan, and enjoy your rest of your walk. And both wives.
Hey, one more thing.
Oh, yes.
One more. Baba Booey to y'all.
Oh, why I gotta... it's funny. I don't know if you saw it, but Howard Stern interviewed Joe Biden this week, who some people may remember as the president. And my wife said, "What the hell?" And I said, "It's a new Howard Stern. He's the new, kinder, gentler Howard Stern these days." Hey, thank you so much. Take Baba Booey to you too. What should we do now? Now that all the energy has gone out of.
Do you want to do a voicemail?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Ron, a happy member of Club Twit calling from Baltimore. I just discovered that Bitwarden allows you to store JPEGs, PDFs, things like that within Bitwarden, but the files are not opened within Bitwarden.
Right.
They want you to put it into some place external, which of course could be a security problem. I'd appreciate your comments and any suggestions of workarounds that are secure for this, other than simply going to another app if Bitwarden doesn't work. Thank you.
So you have to understand what it's doing. And by the way, I take advantage of this. This is part of the notes feature of Bitwarden. And I have my passport and my driver's license. In fact, I can show you right here. Let's see. Yeah, that shows my social. Let's not show that one. Yeah, these will all show my numbers, but I guess you could do it blurred. Let me see if I can figure out a way to do this. It has the images in there for my driver's license and passport. Both of them are PNGs. One's a megabyte, one's 4.5 megabytes.
And they're stored within?
They are in the vault, and they are encrypted in the vault. What's happening here is Bitwarden is not a picture viewer. They didn't put that in there, and rightly so, by the way. That would be certainly a nice feature, but it would also be a vector for vulnerabilities. As you know, many picture viewers, including Adobe Acrobat and others, have over the years had a lot of vulnerabilities. Steve Gibson's talked about this. Anything that takes data and interprets it is always vulnerable to attack. So Bitwarden, quite rightly, does not have a picture viewer built in. It'd be a nice convenience, but for security reasons does not. So what it does is it's storing that, like everything else it stores, in highly encrypted, very secure in the vault. You can get to it and download it. And just like anything else, as soon as you do, it's out of the vault and decrypted and then open it with a viewer. It is not a security flaw because no one has access to that bitmap or ping or anything in your vault unless they have access to your vault. So this is intentional and it's fine. If I leave my passport's in here. My driver's license in here, my social security card, my Medicare information, all of that's in Bitwarden because it's secure, it's encrypted. When I need it, I can take it out of Bitwarden, and that's when I would open it up in a file viewer or whatever. But until then, it is encrypted. So I think perhaps you're worried that because you can't open it in a file viewer, that it is available unencrypted. No, it's fully encrypted in the vault.
Right. And
when you access it, you're taking it out of the vault.
Yeah, and it's not as if it's linking to a file that exists somewhere else on your computer.
No.
It's not a shortcut or an alias. It is actually there
in the blob.
In the blob.
Yeah. So yes, that's appropriate. That's how it works. It is not a security hazard. In fact, in my opinion, would be a security hazard if it had a picture viewer built into Bitwarden. You wouldn't want that. What it is it's storing the attachment, which you can then remove. In order to display it, you have to decrypt it and remove it from the vault, put it on the hard drive, display it. What I do if I want a picture of my driver's license or my passport is I detach it, display it, send it, whatever I want to do, and then carefully delete the file that it is exported. In fact, if you're going to do it right, you would, and Mac OS does this, I imagine Windows has a way to do it too, delete it in such a way that it can't be recovered. I can't remember on Mac OS, it used to be you'd hold down your option key on the trash can. I don't know what you do these days. I think it's the default these days.
Yeah, I think, secure delete is
secure delete. So yeah, I think it is. So I don't have anything in my trash, but I think you would want to secure delete it. And that means merely that there isn't that data, that unencrypted data sitting on your hard drive. It's been overwritten, so no one can get to it. Good question, though. I understand your cause for concern. It is secure. And in fact, in my opinion, that's exactly where you should put all of that private stuff is in your Bitwarden vault. Then it's only available to you until you decrypt it. Then it is now available to you, decrypted.
Thank you for the question, Ron.
Good question. Really great question. What else should we do?
How about another email?
How about it? Well, it requires exercise, though. So I'll do it. I'll take 2 this time in case you ask for another one. Always interested in efficiency. Do you, when you get to an elevator, maybe this is just me and my kind of programmer's mind. Do you look at the elevator and sometimes say that's poorly coded? Like it should have gone to this floor first and then come to my floor. Do you ever do that?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Something wrong.
I don't think I'm in elevators enough.
Something
to
wrong.
have
I'm always
that
thinking.
observation.
I'm always thinking algorithms. That's why. Issues connecting to a printer. John Ashley, why I oughta.
Son of a.
Sam says, "Thank you for reading my question. I have a Canon image class printer MF236N." Just over a year old, 100% of our printing's done wirelessly. We print from a Windows laptop on a Windows 11, an iPhone 15, an iPhone 11. Everything is up to date with the OS and iOS drivers. My problem is this. iPhone 15 and the laptop connect and print with no issues. But the iPhone 11 will not connect to the printer regardless of whether I'm using the Canon printer app or not. The phone is on the correct network after putting an hour on the phone. Oh, geez. With Canon support manually inputting the IP address and several restarts, I'm still unable to print from the iPhone. Thank you, Sam. Interesting question. So he can print from a modern iPhone, a more modern iPhone, the 15. He can print from his laptop, all wirelessly over Wi-Fi. But for some reason, the iPhone 11.
iPhone 11 is not working. I mean, the first thing I could suggest is that the operating system and its bits and pieces, its firmware, are out of date for the printer, but that just seems like an odd.
So I guess one thing that he didn't say, and I wasn't sure if he was, Apple uses a technology to print from its phones and tablets called AirPrint. And I don't know if you're using AirPrint or not. It sounds like you're using the Canon app.
Well, yeah, it sounds like, because specifically Sam said, I have printed including using the Canon app. So I would suggest that they probably tried AirPrint first and then also tried the Canon app. But yeah, if you haven't tried AirPrint, which is just kind of like go in and choose print from the share sheet, then it will let you print.
It's really a clever idea. You know, Google had something similar, which they discontinued.
Google Cloud Print.
I was very disappointed in that, but Apple maintains it. Let me just make sure that the Canon image class MF236N is compatible. I'm sure it is if it's an AirPrint printer. Most modern printers support AirPrint, right? Because that's the way.
Yeah, this is the way. Exactly.
In fact, the fact that it's working with the iPhone 15
tells me
you might want to take the Canon software off. That's, by the way, something a Canon rep will not tell you, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to blame their software. So that's the first thing I would do.
There are just a lot of questions that I have still. That's, I think, one of the reasons why printer style questions are a little difficult, because there's a lot of troubleshooting that could be done here. When you say it won't print, is the printer showing up as an option whenever you're trying to use the AirPrint functionality? If it is showing up, how long until you see that it's not printing to it? Is the printer starting to print and then it stops in the print spooling server? Like there's so many questions involved.
So I have looked it up, and your MF236N image class printer is supported by AirPrint. So in fact, there you can see it. So I'm going to guess the first thing I would do is take the Canon software off. In theory, you don't need it, right?
Right. Yeah, because AirPrint works on its own. So maybe it's confusing it in some way. Yeah. That's a possibility.
So remove the Canon software. You might want to set up AirPrint on your printer again to make sure it's connected to the network. You said you're on the same Wi-Fi network. Obviously, you do have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. I have that issue because I use VLANs to separate the what do you call it? The iHome stuff, the IoT stuff. You know, the non-computer stuff is on one network, and then the computers, which I included the phone, is on another. And for a long time, it was a problem because my printers were IoT devices. I considered them a security risk. I didn't want to have them on the same network as my actual computers, but that made it really hard to print because I would have to change the Wi-Fi network on the computer to see it. I suppose I could have set up routing rules in my VLAN setup. I'm sure I could have, but what I just ended up doing is putting the printers on the secure network and saying, screw it. Let's just hope they don't get hacked, right? It is a good idea to have a virtual LAN in between your IoT devices and your computing devices, but in this case, convenience trumped security, as it often does.
Yes. I have I think a question that you can address pretty quickly that has cropped up. It's a kind of a breaking
They're red
news.
and green socks.
It is a breaking news question. I am a member of Club Twit because I like viewing the video versions of the podcasts.
Yes.
On today's live stream, Leo said Club Twit members will not be able to have video going forward. Is that true?
No, I did not say that. I did imply that perhaps someday we would buck the trend and get rid of video, but that is not imminent. In fact, one of the reasons we're looking at StreamYard, we use StreamYard for Stacey's Book Club on Thursday, is because it is a great way for us to do video and audio podcasts, to let the club see it. StreamYard has its own chat, but it also integrates with Twitch and YouTube chat, which is kind of cool. And it had a really nice way of putting chat up on the screen. In fact, in some ways, it's not as capable as a TriCaster and having a big studio, but in some ways, I thought StreamYard was pretty good. That we're waiting on StreamYard to improve the video quality. Right now, it's 720p. We're waiting for it to upgrade to 1080p, which they say is on their roadmap. And at that point, we may start doing more shows. We did Untitled Linux Show that way for the last couple of weeks. So what we're looking at is saving money, and this is all going to depend on club support and advertiser support. But what we don't want to do is get to the position come December where we're broke.
Right.
And we have to say, thank you for your service. So long.
Right.
We wanted, and this is where thank God we have Lisa, our CEO, and my wife, who is a brilliant financial person because she's looking ahead, right? So we did have to do, I was very sad. We had to lay off Jason Howell and Ant Pruitt and Victor Bognot, one of our editors. It's been about 6 months now. But that was because she said, come June of 2024, we're not going to have any money to pay them, and we're not even going to have money for severance. Mm-hmm. So we laid them off early enough that we could give them severance. We wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. But presuming that we were going to, based on ad sales and club membership, because that's the only revenue source, right, is ad sales and club membership, that we were going to be able to make it to June. Well, we're all worked out. The savings got us more runway. Club has been growing. Ad sales actually have been growing a little bit, so we're surviving. And it may be that come the end of the year, if a lot of you join the club and everything, we can stay in the studio. That would be great. But we have to have these contingencies because what we don't want to do is get there and say, oh, no, we're in trouble. So what we're doing is we're looking at ways to sustain the network at a lower cost, right? When revenue goes down, costs have to go down because I don't have enough money in my purse to make up the difference, right? Actually, if the difference is small, we have been making it up. But at some point, we can't. So when revenues go down, costs have to go down, and we have to figure that out. And I'm just warning people, we're not going to turn off video because we know you like video. Although I did say when I get old, I might not want video.
I think,
but you're always going to be young, so
right.
There's the good news.
I think that is what. So to the Club Twit member who was planning to panic cancel their membership because they thought they were losing video, we have just addressed it. It's you.
Don't cancel your membership. That's the best way to ensure that you'll lose video.
Yes.
Get your friends and family to join. Video does cost us extra. I will admit that. So that is possible. It's not on the roadmap right now.
There you go. It's not on the roadmap right now. Yeah. There's the.
Don't cancel your membership now. Unless you want to hurry it along. and honestly, because there's things like StreamYard, which costs us, I think it's about $1,000 a month to use StreamYard. That's, a tenth of what it costs to do the studio. So because of things like that, I think we can continue. The New York Times says video is the next big thing. So I think we got to keep doing it. And I like doing video. I think even though a small fraction of you watch it, no more than say 10 or 20%, depends on the show, but it's a small number. But we believe that the people, when you do watch it, it's good.
You really like it.
And so we think that maybe what's happening is not that only 10% are watching, is that for every 10th show you watch the video, and then after that you can kind of imagine what my socks look like. And so I don't know. I can't promise anything because, it's life. It's money. It's sad, but it takes money to do this. And I can't promise anything. But as long as we continue to get club support, as long as we can continue to get advertising support, we should be able to operate, I think, at a good level, including video. And we want to keep Micah. We want to keep our team. We really like our team. So we have a very smart financial person doing the best she can. Although I know she's losing her hair.
It's like being a president for 4 years.
You age, don't you?
Yeah.
No, she's doing a great job. I'm very impressed. Speaking of breaking news, did you see this? We're going to do May 7th is Apple's iPad announcement. We are not going to stream it because they decided to do it at 7 in the morning our time. Unless you want to get up.
I didn't realize we weren't streaming it.
Do you want to get up?
Leo, do you want to get up?
I will. Yeah, I'll do it.
Because, it's nothing to stream. They're releasing a video.
Oh,
it's not a live
it's
event.
Not going to be.
It's just a pre-recorded video like the one back this Spooky October.
And the funny thing is, and I'm not taking this personally, but I didn't get an invitation. So I'm not allowed to watch it, I think.
You didn't get the one to the pre-recorded video even?
No.
What?
They really don't like me. So anyway, okay, if you want to get up, we can do it. It's silly because and it's a Tuesday, so Mac Break Weekly will be at 11 a.m. a few hours later, and we will cover in depth. In fact, join us on Mac Break Weekly. You will be covering it on iOS Today, right?
Yeah.
And the rumor is that not only will there be iPad Pros, but Mark Gurman is now saying something that I was poo-pooed for saying 2 weeks ago on Mac Break Weekly. It might be an M4. An M4 with additional AI features. So that's interesting. When I mentioned that on Mac Break Weekly, I think both Jason and Andy said, no, they're not going to do that. They'll do an M3.
Well, I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Woo. But Gurman is now saying an M4. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. It will mean that the fastest, bestest computer in Apple's line will be an iPad.
It will be an iPad. And it also speaks to something fascinating, which is that usually at WWDC, what we see almost exclusively is updated software that will run on the hardware that we already have. But if the new bright and shiny is only reserved for that iPad and then the iPhone that will be announced in September, that's interesting because usually Apple only holds a couple of things for the new hardware that's announced in September. But if it's all AI all the time, that's going to be most of the new stuff that gets announced only being for the latest version of its hardware. So we shall see.
It does. I can see why the Mac Break Weekly panel said, no, that can't happen. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. But it does whenever they're scrambling to be part of this Gen AI.
They don't want to be miss out. In fact, that's the other rumor is that not only are they talking to Google about use of their Gemini AI, they're now talking to OpenAI.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I thought was very interesting. What would we do now? Besides taking a pause that refreshes.
Is it time for our second
guest? My God, it's Chris Marquardt. All right, we'll be right back with Chris Marquardt, camera guy. But first, you're watching Ask the Tech Guys, Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte. Here he is all the way from the Viewfinder Villa, Mr. Chris Marquardt, our photo guy. Hi, Chris.
Hello. Hello. How are you, gentlemen?
You got your internet back,
Excellent.
huh?
Yeah, so glad you got the fiber.
Oh.
What happened?
This was... they put in a new fiber for the neighbor, and the guys who installed it thought, oh, what's that other fiber, and just snipped it.
Oh!
And then took a total of 9 days to get back to the old.
That's heinous.
I was on vacation for 5 of those days, so
well, that's good.
It wasn't quite as bad, but holy hell, no. It wasn't.
I would go on vacation if it weren't from. If I had lost my internet, I'd be like, I'm out of here.
I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, anyway, we're glad you're back. That's why you missed last week. That gave everybody one more week to take a lovely picture.
Powerful.
Illustrating.
The powerful assignment. Here we go. And here's the pictures that people submitted.
Oh, look at that
bunch.
Powerfully
very happy.
dog.
Oh, good. We got a bunch. That's nice. Did you get any powerful AI pictures?
No AI pictures this time around. I'm very surprised, but
these are serious photographers.
This is about real photography. There is something about being the one who captures the photo and catches that moment. It's a bit of a hunting thing going on there, I guess.
Yeah,
and you can't
pride.
have that with AI. It doesn't work. And pride, yes. So I have made a choice of 3 pictures as usual. And the first one is by Gerald Wiley, and it is a powerful animal.
Oh, I love that.
It's like fire. That cat looks like flames.
Exactly. It's in front of a black background, and the sun seems to be shining in through some blinds, and it's got this stripy light, and it's it's a powerful picture. It's a really powerful picture.
That is outstanding, and it would make a great iPhone photo too. You could see the clock up at the top. You know what I mean? It would be positioned perfect. iPhone background. I mean, like an iPhone wallpaper.
Hey, quick! Everyone, make a screenshot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
Isn't that gorgeous? Or go to Flickr.com, join the Tech Guy group, and you'll find it in full quality at Flickr.
Yes.
Wow.
All right.
Gerald, very nice
That is
picture.
a really cool photo.
I wish there were some info about it, because I would love to know how he took it and so forth.
There's no EXIF data. I've looked, and I haven't seen any EXIF data.
It looks like daylight.
Right.
It doesn't look like he used special lighting. It looks like daylight. It's very beautiful.
Well, if you know how, you can simulate daylight.
That's
with,
true.
Flash or something.
But then how do you get the cat to simulate the feather thing? And that's the question. This is just excellent timing. Very nice, Gerald. All right, picture 2.
I bet Gerald took a bunch of pictures to get that one.
It's gorgeous.
That's usually what you do.
And what a beautiful cat.
All right.
Oh, gorgeous catty.
All right. Next up, by Smith J88, Beauty of Spring.
Yeah.
I think is that Magnolia?
Magnolia blossoms. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So this one's taken with an iPhone. You don't need a big expensive camera. You have one in your pocket.
iPhone 13
photos.
Not even the latest iPhone, folks.
Even that, and the thing that makes this powerful, I think, is it's shot with the wide-angle lens.
Yeah,
and that allows you to get close to the subject, and then the subject becomes really important. And in this case, the petals in the front, the flowers in the front, really stick out.
Lovely
nice.
picture.
It's nice colors. So.
Even a magnolia can be powerful in our group. Nice.
And if you look, it has the 3 primary colors in there: red, green, and blue. So it kind of covers the entire spectrum, and that makes it a very satisfying picture to look at.
Lovely. Thank you, Smith.
All right, and the last one is by Gregory Chesney, Batteries for Life. And I was a bit stumped first, looked at it, and I was like, what is going on here? But I'm pretty sure it's about the sun being our life source. And what we're looking at is a very it's an indoor situation, lights coming in through the blinds. The sun is shining in very low, and it's reflected in a mirror, and it has that movie feeling.
Yeah.
There's some you can make up like a dozen different stories in your head of what's going on here, and there's a lot of stuff in the dark, which means that you, as the viewer, you have to get active and fill in the blanks and make up your stories. It helps you make up your stories. So this is a good example for that.
I like the addition of the mirror, because then you have the shadow of the lamp plus the reflection of the lamp. It really makes it
and the streaks of the light. See that lens flare, the horizontal streak of the light, which is reminiscent of what J.J. Abrams does in his movies. Right. He always has these lens flares in there, so it feels a bit like a still from a movie.
Very nice. Wow, 3 great pictures. Thank you, Gregory, for that.
Very nice.
Thank you for naming it too. We like it when you name your pictures, right?
yes. If you learned anything from the, I don't know how many years I've been on here, it's name your photos. It's really nice if they have titles.
Chris doesn't like JPG 03794-1.
Yeah.
By the way, we've crossed 14,000 members now in the Tech Guy group. That is a great number. Thank you, Renee Silverman, our moderator. And thank you, Chris, for creating this group all those years ago and making it very active. 7,700 photos, and all of them.
That's a pretty amazing feat. Yes.
Yeah. Well done. Well,
all right.
I think that means we have to go to the fishbowl.
We do. Let me pull one out. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah. The next one is tough.
From powerful to tough.
I've got a steak in the fridge that might count.
Oh,
All right.
no.
Oh, tough. What could that be? That'll be fun.
Well, I mean, from a photography point of view, I would think of like harsh light, dramatic light, contrast, sharp angles, like maybe a strong pose of sorts.
Set of brutalist image.
Possible.
Yeah. I love it.
Or a tough steak. Yeah.
I love it.
Works for me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have your assignment. Now, here's how this works. You got a month, 4 weeks. And you're going to go
3
out.
weeks this time.
3? Oh, that's right, because we kind of gained time last week. But okay. So 3 weeks from now, Chris will come back. He will look at this pool of photos in the Tech Guy group on Flickr. How do you get in that pool? He's going to pick 3 that he likes. But how do you get in that pool so everybody can enjoy it? You take a picture. It's got to be new photos. Photos taken from now on, illustrating the word, the concept, the idea, tough. When you upload it to Flickr, you have the option to tag it. So please do tag it TG Tough so that we know. And spell it TOUGH. Unless, Chris, you'll accept alternate spellings.
Yeah, please don't do TUFF.
Tough. You know what? He'll figure it out.
Let's try to keep it at 1 or maybe maximum of 2 spellings. That'll make the automatic search a bit easier.
Yeah. Upload it, tag it TG Tough, and Renee Silverman, our moderator in the group, will thank you for the photo. If you're not a member of the group, of course, join the group as well. Add to that big number. It's really blown away by 14,000 members. Join the group. All of this is free, by the way. Flickr is a free photo sharing site. There are some limits on the free account. We all have pro accounts, but you can do it for free. And upload it. We will not judge you. Upload it, and then Chris is going to pick 3 in 3 weeks. 3 and 3. So that's exciting. That's great. Thank you so much, Chris Marquardt. It's always a pleasure. You got any expeditions planned for the near future?
Well, another Eastern European road trip in September.
Nice.
So that is in the books, and some local stuff here, some workshops here.
Where should people go if they want to find out more about your workshops?
The usual place, discoverthetopfloor.com. That's where you
discoverthetopfloor.com. And there's links there to all of the other many enterprises that Chris participates in. Links to his photos, links to his workshops, his books. He's got some really good books. You're working on a new one, you said last time we talked.
Yes, I am. It'll come out probably in the holiday season this year.
Do you want to tell us what it's about, or is it a surprise?
No, it's for beginners. It's and it'll be out in German first. Unfortunately, it needs to be picked up by a publisher in the US, which will hopefully happen. It's the book that I would have liked to have as a beginner, and it's a map to the breadth of photography, because if you start off, you have a bunch of things that you learn from videos, from forums, and so on, and you don't really know what's out there. So that's the goal of the book, to show you the breadth of photography. Nice.
Discoverthetopfloor.com. Chris, I love your books. I have them all, and I will get the new one as soon as it's in English, because my German is not very good. Although my son is a German speaker. He's going with his German tutor and his father. I'm just stepfather to Germany in October to tour around and to practice his German. He's very good. It's kind of cool.
Awesome. Send him here.
I will.
I'll happily speak German with him.
I will. They're planning all the places they're going to go visit. Thank you, Chris Marquardt.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Always a pleasure. DiscoverTheTopFloor.com. Okay. Let's see. We've got enough time, I think, for 1 or 2 more calls.
Yeah, you have an email in the hand, though.
I do. I have one right here.
An email in the hand is
an email in the hand.
2 in the inbox.
From Howard. I recently moved to Florida and subscribed to Xfinity Cable, the only provider in this community. By the way, that's pretty much the case everywhere in the country. You have usually it's one phone company, one cable company. If you're lucky, you have 2 providers. Jeez, for high-speed internet. I'm experiencing a marked degradation in the sound quality from streaming services, Netflix, Amazon, and other channels through Xfinity versus my Dolby Digital 11.1 capable DVD player. I have to increase the volume by 2x and the surround sound is almost non-existent when tuned to the Xfinity input. A service tech replaced the HDMI cables in the Xfinity box. Yeah, you would want to have the latest HDMI, I would think. A service tech, and then even switched the DVD cables with the Xfinity cable, all to no avail. So I don't know, and left. I suspect Xfinity is compressing their signal, but they won't confirm this. Well, that's for sure true. That's one of the reasons you get a physical media player, is you're going to have the less compression. Thus, I'm considering purchasing an Apple TV or Roku box to achieve my goal of parity with the DVD audio. New Samsung 85 OLED TV with one Connect box feeding the audio and video to a Marantz preamp and separate amplifier and 5.1 speakers around my room. Will the Apple TV fix it?
We can't say for sure. That's a hard thing to say. Anytime you're doing streaming and comparing streaming to something that is playing locally, you're almost always going to be disappointed. Now,
it's unclear if when he says Xfinity, if he's talking about.
Sounds like an Xfinity set-top
data.
box.
Yeah.
It's, to me, it sounds like because as
streaming versus optical.
Yeah, and Xfinity has its own set-top box that people can get. I can't remember what it's called.
That's what's confusing to me, because he says he's the Xfinity box, so he's using their streamer. Is that
that's what I think?
Yeah, get rid of their streamer.
Yeah.
That's definitely the case.
It is definitely not going. You're probably right that it's not going to be as good. But if you are comparing it between a hard Blu-ray, an actual physical, Blu-ray versus what you're going to get over streaming, you're not going to be happy even with an Apple TV. That's not going to be as good.
But it'll be close enough.
It'll be better.
I have to say, because Scott Wilkinson told me to, I went out and got a UHD Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
And I got Dune and Oppenheimer. And yes, they sound amazing and they look amazing. But it doesn't make me sad when I stream off my Apple TV. I feel like I'm getting. So some of the issues are the center channel. Make sure that the Xfinity box is giving you full 5.1. He says it is.
The X1 box is apparently what it's called.
Yeah. And he has a center channel, I think. Yeah, 5.1 speakers. Make sure that you're getting a center channel from the Xfinity box, because that's where all the vocals are. And a lot of times when people complain about audio, what they're really saying is, I can't hear the dialogue. And that's a center channel problem. But I think an Apple TV will be far superior to the X1 streaming, honestly.
Almost certainly, yeah. So if you're not super picky, I don't like I can't remember what the final question was.
Well, just Roku or Apple TV, will that make it better?
Oh. So yeah,
will I achieve my goal? He tried different cables. That was a smart move, because
yes,
you have to have modern DVD cables.
Yeah, and they will do their best to give you crummy ones if they can. So
weirdly, HDMI cables have different versions. I had an X1 box. I got rid of it almost immediately, and I prefer the Apple streaming solution. The UI is better. I don't know if the quality is better, but I would bet it is. I would bet it is.
Yeah, it's more front of mind, because that X1 box's primary purpose is not to, because I don't even know if you pay very much for it, if at all.
No, it's part of the, you probably do, because they want money.
You sort of secretly do.
Yeah, it's part of the deal. The only reason I used the Xfinity X1 was for 4K back in the Olympics 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way to watch it. You had to get through. But what I'm not clear about is if that's a true over-the-top box,
or
in
if
other words,
it's also
all
a
internet,
cable box.
or if it's getting it through the
oh, that's a good question.
Cable, or is it some sort of hybrid thing? I guess if you're streaming with it, Netflix with it, I don't like it. It's low powered. It doesn't have a big.
That's
CPU.
the thing. It's low powered. Yeah. It's more your Apple TV is a better investment.
Yeah. Keep the X1 if you want the DVR. But I would get the Apple TV. Roku will be okay, but Apple TV be better.
Yeah, and with the way the Roku's going with all of its ad stuff lately, I don't think I'm starting to get to a place where I'm not recommending any of that anymore.
Yeah,
because they even want to go as far as with Roku TVs, they're experimenting with. Even if you plug an Xbox into your Roku TV, right, and you're playing a game, they want to push ads into the HDMI stream while you're playing a video game on your Xbox.
Sorry, no.
Yeah, no.
Apple TV is more expensive, much more expensive, more than twice as much.
But it's not subsidized, right? So that's can be better.
Good question. Now what?
I got another voicemail ready to go.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's hear it.
Hi, this is Paul from Duluth, Minnesota. Good old question about is it time to replace the iMac from 2017
yes.
with the new Mac Mini Pro 2? And just curious, with the new M4 chips probably in the making, if now would be an okay time to still buy that M2 Pro Mac Mini. So if you give me a shout on that, I'd sure appreciate it.
That's
Thanks.
a great question.
Yeah.
By the way, this was not planned. I did not plan that question.
Sure you didn't know. Yeah, because
you want to get rid of the Intel.
Absolutely.
So but he's not asking that question. He's really saying, is now a good time to buy versus
waiting a little bit.
Certainly I would wait for WWDC. I don't think they're going to, we don't know. You never know with Apple.
That's the thing.
I would wait till June 7th for a WWDC.
Because the Mac Mini is currently on M2. And so that's very old.
Yeah, they're due to announce the M3.
Mm-hmm.
May even jump to the M4.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's confusing what's going on.
Because we've got the M3 MacBook Air, the M3 MacBook Pro. So M3, I think, for the Mac Studio even.
Who has the who is it? Which Apple site has the
is that
is it 9 to 5
Mac Rumors, I think?
Or is it Mac Rumors?
I think Mac Rumors
They have a wonderful buyer's guide. It is Mac Rumors that tells you how long something has been available and whether it's a good time to buy or not. So go to Mac Rumors and the buyer's guide, and let's take a look at the iMac and see, because what's great.
Well, but they're wanting to switch to the Mac Mini.
Oh, okay. Mac Mini's fine too. Yeah. So let's look at the Mac Mini. It says caution, approaching end of cycle. This is the information you wanted. 467 days since it's been updated. So now the average is 700. So we aren't really, we're getting close, but not necessarily really close. Here's an article from a couple of days ago. Apple likely planning to skip M3 Mac Mini for M4 refresh in late 2024. Again, Apple says nothing.
Of course, yes.
And so all of this is pure speculation. It is possible. I would wait till the WWDC to buy anything with a Mac in it and then see what they say then. But I think it's probably the case that we are waiting till fall, October maybe.
Yeah.
Before they update the iMac, the Mac Mini, the Mac Pro, and the Mac Studios.
Because it's my belief that M4 is going to serve as the basis for what Apple decides to do with Gen AI. And so they're going to want a bunch of hardware that is as capable as possible for what they're planning to do with Gen AI, because they want to do as much as they can locally.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a complete hardware refresh of everything by the end of this year. But that means waiting until late 2024 for some of it. So if you're in absolute dire need, go ahead. But if you can wait until late 2024, at least as Lee
it
was
may
saying,
still be an
WWDC.
M3.
And yeah, it could end up being an M3. They might not skip.
Now, all right.
You never know.
We've given you the proper answer. Now let me give you the real answer. You can't tell the difference between M1 and M2 and M3. You can't. Can you?
No. No.
I can when I look at, for instance, when I write my advent of code challenges in Lisp, my M1 Max is not as fast as my M3 Max.
Right.
It's maybe, in fact, the code will run maybe twice as fast. But I can't feel it. I can't tell.
Yeah.
And it's just irrelevant because there's so many other factors, how fast something loads from the drives, how much RAM you have, software, et cetera, et cetera. I'll be honest. None of the Apple Silicon is there that big a difference that you would go, oh, thank God I waited till the M3 or M4. So if you need a Mac Mini, I think you do, because I think you need to get off that Intel Mac. It's too bad. That iMac's beautiful. And frankly, the 24-inch iMacs are not the direction you should go. You're right. Get a Mac Mini with a nice screen. You're much better off. You can get a 27-inch or bigger screen. You can't get that in an iMac anymore. I would say go ahead and do it. An M2 Mac Mini today is not going to be appreciably slower than even an M4. Unless you're like me and Micah, where you go, oh, but I don't have the most. but I want the new one. So if you know, it's just I think getting off Intel now is probably a good move.
Yeah.
And get a Mac Mini today. You'll be very happy with the M2. I think. I don't think you'll feel.
Yeah, there won't
like
be too
it's
much
slow.
FOMO. Exactly.
No.
You're going to be impressed.
I decided that I was going to use. This is the M3 MacBook Air, and I
Pro.
gave John the M3 Max.
Yeah.
And I gave John the M1 Mac Studio because I figured, well, I should just connect this to my big screen and use this as my desktop since I have it. But honestly, I couldn't tell the difference. I really like these Mac Studios.
Me
I
too.
think that would be
That's what I have at
if
home.
yeah,
It's
if
great.
instead of getting an iMac, you wanted to get a desktop with a screen, it might be worth looking at the Mac Studios. I really think they're a little bit bigger because they have more space for cooling. They can run a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
Lots more connectivity. Look at all the things on the back and the front. Although the minis are pretty good, but they don't have these extra ports on the front, and they don't have the camera card slot and stuff like that. I don't know. You're the Mac guy. You tell me.
Again, I think no matter what, you're going to be impressed because you're coming from Intel, baby. So that's
It's going to
great.
be so much better.
And if you
That's 90% of the improvement.
exactly just give the Mac Studio a glance is what I'll say, and then decide if it's priced with what you might want. In which case, go for it. And if not, then the Mac Mini is going to make you happy.
How you doing, baby? you miss me? John treating you good? Is everything okay? You want to go back home? No? You like John? Okay. You can have it back. I had to check. Actually, I changed it because I thought, well, look, I've got this laptop. I should just connect this to my big screen and use this when I'm home. Why? And then that way I don't have to copy
That's
stuff back
true.
and
It's all
forth.
there.
It's all my main computer.
And that
This
thing
actually
is a
has
beast.
more storage and more RAM than the Mac Studio did. But I didn't see any big jump. Only when I compile my code.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's, okay, yeah, it's 4 milliseconds instead of 8 milliseconds. Yeah, twice as fast. Noticeable? Not
No,
at all.
because that difference is not.
No, it's not a big difference. Hey, we're out of time. We've got a very big twit coming up. If you're watching live, stay tuned. We will go back on YouTube. We stream live during the show for non-club members at youtube.com/twit. So in about half an hour, we'll go back on the air with Kevin Rose. Did we Dan Patterson, Kevin Rose, Amy Webb? Perfect. So Padre. Oh, okay. So we're not sure. It's going to be at least Amy Webb and Kevin Rose, which actually is plenty. That's funny because Kevin came to me at the last minute. I said, well, maybe Padre will move. And then it turned out somebody else dropped out. And then I don't know if we can get Padre back. So it's a very confusing situation. So we'll stay tuned.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's the middle of the
You'll
night
see
in
what
Rome,
it is when it's
and
time.
Who knows what's going on. But we'll at least have Kevin Rose and Amy Webb. That's actually all we ever really need. That's wonderful. What a great show that'll be about half an hour from now. We do this show every Sunday. It starts at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, goes to about this time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. So tune in around 1800 UTC, youtube.com/twit if you want to watch live. The advantage of watching live is you can call in 888-724-2884. But of course, if you call in before or after that time, you can always leave a message. We love the voicemails. Email us too, atg@twit.tv. That's always great. We like the videos and we had that great video. That was really, really nice. We'd love to hear from you. Micah Sargent will be back Tuesday with iOS Today, and he's going to be in 7 a.m. on May 7th. You want to do that?
For the iPad event.
Do you want to do that?
I'll think about
It's recorded. I feel like
all of them are recorded, technically.
I guess that's true. If you come at 7, I'll be my jammies, but I'll do it from my house at 7. It's up to you. I'm going to put it in your lap.
All right.
He'll also be back for Tech News Weekly on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's when Hands on Mac gets published as well.
Hands on Mac, which is his show that's audio outside the club, video inside the club. Ooh. So again, if you're a club member, you get to see a lot more, including the video of us setting up the studio right after this. Please join the club. It helps us out immensely. twit.tv/club twit. And we thank you in advance for that. That really is a big, big deal for us. What else? Anything else you want to say?
No, that covers it.
Do you want to thank your mother, your father, your Do you want to say hello to your aunt in Missoula? Anything at all?
I have no aunt in Missoula.
Okay. Well, that simplifies things quite a bit. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And we will see you next time on Ask the Tech Guys. And what do we say at the end of every show?
Have a great geek week.
Bye-bye.